Hello students, Professor Zehr here, and I'm just going to provide a quick overview on how to use present value and future value functions in Microsoft Excel. In your Moodle resources, you'll find this handout called Time Value of Money Tips. I think it's always helpful when you're approaching present value and future values to go through a series of steps, and those steps are listed here in the middle of the page. First, what am I trying to find? An amount in the future or an amount in the past? Secondly, does this involve a lump sum or a series of payments? Thirdly, how many periods are involved? Is this in years, months, quarters, weeks, days? And that will determine your input into Excel regarding how the periods are calculated. And fourthly, what is the interest rate per period? If the rate is 12%, but the interest is calculated monthly, I would need to take that 12% and divide it by 12 months, and my interest rate per period would be 1% per period or per month. So once I've answered those four questions, then I have the key pieces of information that I'll need to input into Excel to solve the problem. So let's do a couple of sample problems. Here's the information. On your 70th birthday, you learned that your grandma, bless her soul, deposited $50 for you on the day of your birth in a savings account bearing 5% interest. How much is in the account today? So let's go through our set of questions here. What am I trying to find? An amount in the future or an amount in the past? Well, she made the deposit on the day of my birth. Now I'm 70, so I want to find out what that $50 has grown to. So I'm looking to calculate an amount in the future. Secondly, does this involve a lump sum or a series of payments? Well, she only put $50 in once and let it grow, so we're dealing with a lump sum here. Third, how many periods are involved? This could be years, months, quarters, depending on the problem. Well, here we know that 70 years have passed since the day of birth. It does not tell us that the interest is anything but annual, so we will assume an annual interest rate and years being the time period. What is the interest rate per period? Again, it doesn't say otherwise, so we are going to assume that it is annual 5% interest. Okay, now we're ready to go to financial formulas, and in Excel they are up in the toolbar. Click on formulas and then financial, and we've got all these different formulas. If we scroll over, we'll get a brief description. We already determined that we're trying to solve a future value problem, so we're going to look for FV, future value, and now we can fill in the boxes. Our rate is 5% or 0.05. N per stands for number of periods, and we've got 70 years, so we're going to use 70. Payment, if we had payments that were made every year, we would put a number in here, but this was a lump sum problem, so we're only going to put the initial deposit, and Grandma deposited $50. $50 came out of her bank account, so we're going to put it in as a negative. Click OK, and voila, there is our answer. That $50 over 70 years at 5% interest has grown to $1521.32. So the original $50 deposit, the difference between that $50 and what it's worth now would be all of the accumulated interest over that 7-year time period. Okay, let's look at another one. You won $1 million in the lottery, but unfortunately the money is payable in a year and you want to start spending it right away. If interest is at 8%, how much can you receive today in exchange for that $1 million in a year? So let's look at the first question. What am I trying to find? An amount in the future or an amount in the past? Well, we know the amount in the future, $1 $1 million is what we're going to receive in a year. What we want to find out is what that would be worth today if we went to a settlement company and exchanged that $1 million promise in the future for money today. Is it a lump sum or a series of payments? We're only talking about a lump sum. How many periods are involved? We're talking about $1 million we're going to receive a year from now. What is the interest rate per period? 8%, and this is an annual problem, so we can leave the rate at 8%. Now we have all the information. Let's go to Excel. And again, we'll go up and formulas, financial. This time we've got present value. We're solving for present value rather than future value. So we will click on PV, and it brings our little function box. Rate that we're talking about is 8%. Number of periods is 1 year. We don't have a series of payments. Instead, we have a lump sum. We know that in the future, we're going to receive $1 million. So if we were going to exchange that at a settlement company, $1 million 1 year from now at 8% interest would be worth $925,925.93 today. In other words, if I want to cash in early, I'm going to take a little bit of a hit because I'm not waiting that year to receive the funds. And so I have to discount it back to what the present value of $1 million is worth if I forego that year of waiting. Let's do another one. This is a little trickier. What is the value today of a share of stock that you think will be worth $50 in a year that throws off $1 in dividends each quarter until then, assuming the market interest rate is 10%? What am I trying to find? I'm trying to find what a stock that I think will be worth 50 in the future is worth today. So I am solving for present value. Is this a lump sum or a series of payments? Well, it's actually both. I think that the stock will be worth a lump sum of $50 in 1 year. Until then, it's going to pay me $1 per quarter in dividends. So this one is actually both. How many periods involved? Well, we're talking about 1 year, but we also receive dividends each quarter. So we're going to use quarters as our time period. And what is the interest rate per quarter? Well, I'm going to have to take this 10% annual rate and divide it by 4. So 2.5% is going to be my interest rate per period. Now let's go to Excel. Financial functions, present value. My interest rate is 2.5% per period. Number of periods is 4 quarters. Payment, I do receive a $1 dividend each quarter, so I'm going to put $1 in there. And the future value is that $50 that I think the stock will grow to. And so when I calculate it, the present value would be $49.06. In other words, the stock that I think is worth $50 in the future that pays me $1 per quarter in dividends when the market interest rate is 10% would be worth $49.06 today based on present value calculations. Let's look at one more. Joe is age 25. He decides to invest $100 per month into an investment paying 6%. How much will the investment be worth at age 65? Well, he is trying to find what those $100 payments per month will accumulate to over the next 40 years. So we are solving for future value. Is this a lump sum or series of payments? $100 per month. So this is a series of payments, also known as an annuity. How many periods are involved? This he's paying every month. So we're going to do this on a monthly basis, and we would take the 40 years times 12 months per year. So we're going to have 480 months or 480 periods. What is the interest rate per period? If we take this 6% annual rate and divide it by 12 months, we're going to get a rate of 0.5% per month. So now we have the key pieces of information. Again, we'll go to our future value. So our rate, 0.5%, number of periods, 480, our payment, $100 per month that we're going to take out of our account and deposit it with the investment company. Present value, we're not investing a lump sum, and so we will learn that our $100 monthly deposit will grow to $199,149.07 over 40 years at 6% interest rate. So I hope these little exercises and the questions on how to solve time value of money problems will be helpful for you. There are other resources posted in Moodle that can also assist you with time value of money problems.